Coach, Mavericks coming off a 2-game series with Bemidji State in which we had a couple of overtime games. We won one, we lost one. I guess your thoughts on a little bit that series, and then what we have in store for us with us hosting Michigan Tech in the last regular season games for both, or for us this weekend here in Mankato.
Well, I thought both games against Bemidji could have went either way. I thought, we played well enough to win one game. They played well enough to win an overtime game. And at this time of the year, you're going to, more often than not, you're going to be in games that are decided by the little things. And, whether it's overtime, whether it's a power play goal, special teams, goaltending. And, for me, it's, I looked at it as we grew a little bit, learning from some negatives and learning from some positives. And so, we've reset. We took a little bit of time this week to try and get our bodies back to where we need to. And now we're going to be playing, I think, one of the hottest teams in our league. Watching them on tape, and even when they were swept by Bemidji at home, they outshot them 2-1 both nights. I think they're playing with a lot of confidence. They've got depth 1 through 4 in their lineup. They've got depth back at the blue line. Pietila is playing as well as anybody in the conference between the posts, and they're hungry. And so, they're still trying to fight for home ice. So we'll have a hill to climb this weekend. I think we'll be able to learn a little bit more about ourselves before we get into playoffs.
As we wait for questions to filter in here, there is familiarity with Michigan Tech in that we've played them this year, obviously, and the years past, and you're familiar with how Coach Sean goes about his business with his program, and it seems like it's always a really good test when we play Michigan Tech.
Yeah, and like I said, you look up and down their lineup, guys that we've seen that seem like they've been there a while but are only juniors in Broadsman and Bliss. And then you look at their defensive core, and I think you've got a group there that, they're elusive. They don't mind handling a puck. They are involved in the offense. They're involved in defending or breaking themselves out. They play as a unit of 5, about as tight and as close connected as anybody we've played. A lot of the things that they do, we do. So I think it's going to be a great test for us because I think they're playing very well. There's a lot on the line, and hopefully we can progress ourselves this weekend.
You're honoring your seniors this week. Just a comment about how good that group has been for you this season.
Well, we had 2 grad transfers that were added to the group of 7 that we have. And so those 2 guys have done a really good job, and Burgess and Edquist coming in. And Edquist is, obviously looking to try and, he wanted to come in and play more than he has. The season that Dryden McKay has had has stopped that from happening as much as he wanted it to happen, but he's still been an integral part in our locker room at being just an outstanding teammate and pushing Dryden. And Todd Burgess has come in. I think he's got 14, 15 points, has filled in a role on the right side with Jake Uremko and Reggie Lutz. Has been an impact player for us on the power play. And then you look at the group of 7 that have led us to, or been a part of 4 championships as far as the McNaughton Cup is concerned. So that group has allowed our program to grow and brought it to new heights. And I know they're not satisfied with that. They're looking forward to the next step, which is finishing our regular season and then moving on into the playoffs.
With the other WCHA teams all still playing for seeding and positioning for the playoffs, what are you looking to take out of this weekend series?
That's a good question. We're trying to continue to progress. We've, I think our ability to, or the opportunity for us to look at ourselves in the mirror a little bit on this last weekend against Bemidji, who, as you can see, watching the outcome of last night's game, they play a lot of 1-goal games. We learned a little bit. So we have to get back on our horse and hopefully start to utilize our depth scoring. Our special teams have to get better. One thing I think that weekend exposed on us is our power play has started to sputter here a little bit. We haven't been able to find a power play goal for a while. And our penalty kill was exposed. And when you start talking about special teams, they can be the difference in games. So it's allowed us to refocus on that. We're trying to dial those 2 parts of our overall game to a level that can make an impact on it. So I think it's allowed us to go back and take inventory on ourselves And, hopefully we'll be able to show better come Friday night against a very impressive Michigan Tech team.
You won't have to go on the road again until the NCAA tournament. What are the advantages knowing that you'll be home the next 3 weeks?
Well, just that the guys get to sleep in their own beds. So do the coaches. Really just the idea of familiarity, and then making sure we take advantage of that. The facility, the building that we play in has been very kind to us over the last 7-8 years, and we want to take advantage of that and defend our home ice. That's why you play for a regular season championship other than the trophy and the recognition. It's most about being able to play in your own building. And because of the COVID year and how some of the cards that it has dealt us, we've been on the road almost twice as much as we've been at home. And so we want to now take a deep breath here, hopefully utilize some of the rest, the opportunity to not be getting on a bus or on a plane and then off a bus or off a plane at the end of a weekend, and try to be as fresh as possible.
There's a really good chance that the league could put 2, 3, or maybe 4 teams in the NCAA tournament this season. How good of a season has this been for the WCHA?
Well, I'm speaking from somebody that's on the inside of it. It's hard. A lot of this has been, and I don't know if you can quantify it, but when you're playing somebody and you're only playing him once, and at times you've been able to play him at home, on other times you're playing on the road, do you get them at a time when they're just coming off COVID? Do you get them at a time where they've been on the road for quite a bit when you're playing them? Are they a little bit dinged up? The opportunity to be playing a team at an advantageous time, I think, grows when you only play 14 games inside your league schedule. And so with us right now, you start looking at teams that are, I think on a little bit of a roll. Bemidji and what they've done going to Tech, winning 2 games, we won an overtime game against them, lost an overtime game against them. They turn around and play Lake Superior State last night, find a way to win an overtime. They're going to play them again tonight. They're playing as well as anybody in our league. And then you look at Tech and what they've been doing as of late. I think they're on a bit of a roll. Bowling Green, now that they've been able to get a little bit of a breath, you're seeing them getting ready for making a run in the championship series when you're talking about the Sauer Trophy. So there's no easy outs right now. At this time of the year, everybody's trying to play for positioning or getting prepared for the playoffs. So you're going to have to go out and earn it. And I think that's what we're going to have to do this weekend.
Time for a couple more questions with Mike here. Question regarding Andre Pavel and the fact that he's been in the lineup consistently lately. How has he improved as the season gone along? And what has he done to earn the spot in the lineup?
Well, one thing you know about Andre is the effort you're going to get day in and day out. It doesn't matter if you're in the weight room. I think he's gotten a little more comfortable after, I don't want to say being nervous as a freshman, but maybe just getting used to his surroundings and letting his game show a little bit better. But I think he's playing with confidence, and I think that's allowed him to consistently be in our lineup. And right now we're pretty healthy. So those spots are spots that are coveted, and you have to earn it during the week or the previous weekend, or a combination of the two, so that you can play on a Friday. And he's been doing that as of late.
Another player, really his first year in the lineup, has been Brendan Furry, and 4 goals in the last 4 games. He had another one called back in that game against Bemidji on Saturday. It appears like he's found his offensive game, Mike, and there may not be anything turning back.
You know what? He's been, I think, without argument, our most consistent forward over the last 4 games. And I'm not just talking scoring goals. Whether that's distributing the puck, he's made some impact on the power play, even though we haven't scored. He's been a guy that's allowed us to be dangerous, or more dangerous, when he's on the ice. He's still working on the ability to take faceoffs. He's trying to have that turn into a strength. When he's moving his feet, a kid at 6'2" with an offensive instinct that he has, he becomes hard to play against. And you've seen him with a couple of the goals, one that he scored at Ferris State, and then one that he scored this last weekend, the shorthanded goal. He's playing heavy, And when he's moving his feet, he's a lot to handle. So hopefully he can continue on that path. And he's doing it every day in practice. One thing I like about Brendan Freary, he's a little bit of a hockey junkie. Loves the game, loves watching it, loves learning, and wants the opportunity to get better every day. And he's doing that.
We have this weekend to close out the regular season. Then we begin the postseason tournament for the WCHA. Do you like the single game semifinal format versus the best 2 out of 3?
I'll let you know if we get there. That's, we're right now, as this group has done all year, and I'm not trying to evade your question at all. It's just, our guys are really focused on tech. I think we'll learn a little bit about it because we haven't done it before. And so when you get to a Final Four format, for those that have been involved in it before, other leagues, I haven't heard a lot of negative to it. I haven't heard somebody say, hey, we just don't like that setup because of the pandemic, because we're trying to make sure that we protect our top teams as far as the teams that advance to that Final Four and not have them getting beat up going into the NCAA tournament. I'm hoping it's a positive step for it. It's one that I think as a league, we're all in favor for, 1 through 8 that's continuing to play. And so it'll be an opportunity for us to learn a little bit.